So, yeah, I wanted to talk about. First off, this is my new video series called The Rambling, where I talk about whatever subject's been on my mind, and I've been trying to figure out a way to talk about anxiety and depression. Uh, but every time I try and make this video, I feel like I just instantly want to delete it and go back to the drawing board because it's like I don't really. I want to make this video in a way that it would help people, but I just don't know. I don't think that I really know how to, and I don't think that's my problem. I think that in general, everybody perceives and experiences anxiety and depression differently, so it's kind of hard for me to sit there and say, well, if you do this and you do this and you do this, you see so many times if you go to like the Reddit anxiety boards or Reddit health anxiety boards, people will be like, how I overcame depression or how I overcame anxiety, and um, one, I've kind of come to this conclusion that anxiety and depression probably isn't something that you ever get over. I think it's kind of a part of you, I mean, the anxiety definitely is. It's just the lower part of your brain, the animal part of your brain is just hyper stressed, and the depression I experience, I don't think it's a clinical depression. I think it's caused by this anxiety that I constantly have, or at least it was. One of the things that helped me more than anything was listening to my doctor and getting treated. Because I thought I was having a heart attack forever. I thought I was having strokes and all sorts of crazy stuff. I would go to the ER and think that, I was going to kill over any second. It's just 7 years of pure hell because I couldn't relax. I couldn't rest. It was like nothing I did that I used to enjoy brought me any types of joy. I couldn't, if I sat down and played a video game, I would just not even be into it. And I remember being in Japan, and I woke up one morning to play a video game, and I'm sitting there playing Battlefield 1, and I'm trying to focus, and it was almost like there was a lag in my brain. A guy would kill me, and I'd be like, "Where did that guy come from?" And he was like directly in front of me. How do you miss? How do you miss these people that are just standing right there? I went from being like a really professional gamer, like someone who just hardcore gets into it, to someone who couldn't even enjoy it. And I went through all that. And I don't really want to get into the details of what I experienced. I just know that I felt like I was dying towards the end of, this horrific experience of anxiety depression that seems to have lasted for 7 years. And it really peaked around the time my mother was about to pass away as a result of cancer. And as I said before, one of the most important things I did was I got medicated. I listened to my doctor. I exercise. I started eating healthier. But I also think I built a really good framework of thought that kind of helped me cope with it. And it's not to say that my way of thinking is going to help everybody. I just think that if you're going to have to go through anxiety and depression, learning how to think about it in a way that isn't destructive is imperative. Because when I was going, I think towards, I was living in Japan. That's when my anxiety was pretty bad then. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I kept waking up every morning and kept thinking, man, I just don't ever feel normal. I never feel normal. And I was like, when will I ever feel normal again? And that was probably the most depressing thought, was that I would never feel like myself for years. And I got to this point where I was like, I may never feel normal again. I may never feel normal again. So instead of focusing on that fact, why don't I get up and do the thing that I would do if I, ask myself, what would I be doing right now if I did feel normal? And so I started doing that. I started going out and hanging out with people, forcing myself to go out and talk to people even if I didn't feel like it. I'd force myself to go out and get exercise, even if I didn't feel like it. It was just like, and that helped a lot. It just helped a lot to sit there, and because I started being more aware of what was normal for me, and even if I don't feel like being that normal guy, I still have the capability of being me. So that helped me out a lot. I think the next thing that helped me out a lot was I kind of developed after my mother's passing. I think one of the things that causes this anxiety so much is we live in the society that demands us to perform and to take care of ourselves, and there's so many variables. Is the economy doing well? Are we going to have a job tomorrow? And so forth and so forth and so forth. Is my health going to be okay? And all these different variables just stress us out because it's just all at the forefront of our mind. And even if somehow we take it from the forefront of our mind, it never completely leaves our mind. It just goes to the back. And I came to this realization that I just did not have any control. I could sit here and worry every single day about my health, about, what's going to happen tomorrow or the week after or the month after or the year after. I could sit there and do that, but the truth is I just didn't have any control over any of that stuff. And, just sit there and allow it to bring me to a state of mind that just destroyed me. That just made life not really worth living. In fact, I would say it's not really even living life. It's just being in a constant state of worry over things, like I said, you can't really control. I can't control if I'm going to have a heart attack. I can eat healthier. I can exercise and hope that helps me, helps me live a longer and better, healthier life. I can't control whether I'm going to have a job or not. I can show up for work. I can do certain things. But, I live in a state where if they want to fire you, they can fire you, So, I can't control, in reality, these problems that, that could potentially happen. And so once I kind of accepted that I don't have control, but I can still take action in the hopes that I can influence this massive chain reaction that we know as the beginning of the universe. We're still living in this chain reaction that started forever ago, and we're a part of this chain reaction. So what's going to happen is going to happen. So I wouldn't say it's really a nihilistic approach. It's not like I don't think life is meaningless. I think life has the meaning that you give it. And, I kind of look at the universe and it's like, anything can happen. Anything can happen, and I don't have any control over this universe. If I die tomorrow, the universe keeps on rolling. It doesn't stop for a second. If I sit here and worry for 30... for so many hours a day, the universe is going to keep on rolling. It's not going to wait for me to get better. It's not going to wait for me to feel better. So, you kind of have to take charge, and I think just accepting that you don't have that control, and the only thing you really can control is, everything that's in direct vicinity of you. And I wouldn't even say in vicinity of you, like, internally you can control the way you think about it. And it took me years to realize that. It took me years to develop the thought processes to kind of help me overcome a lot of this depression, anxiety. which I wouldn't say. When I say overcome, I'm not saying like it doesn't affect me or bother me. Like, you hear all these people go, how I overcame this and how I overcame that. I don't think you overcome depression. I don't think you overcome anxiety. You learn to exist with it, because the thing is, anxiety and depression, I think, is just a part of you. And it doesn't have to be a crippling problem. It can be in fact, a lot of times I look back at it and I feel like it's a blessing that I have these problems. But the last thing, since this video really needs to be wrapped up, because I don't even know if it's going to be helpful for anybody, but the last thing you can really do that I think is just probably the most important thing that you can do is go out, talk to your doctor. If the doctor thinks you need to get medicated, heavily consider it. The doctor's not trying to sell you drugs because, I don't know, sometimes you might have a really shitty doctor, but in my case, I had a really good doctor that was like, hey, these drugs don't work. Let's just get you on this, see if it balances out those chemicals and helps you feel better. Guess what? She was right. It did. Get treated. And get the help that you need. If it's that bad, if you've been in a bad state of mind for so many years, go out and get the help you need. That is the best thing you can do. I can't stress that enough. You can do all these other smaller things, and they do help. But unless you have like a solid framework to place all this frame of thought on, and all these healthy habits on, I feel like just getting through life with anxiety and depression becomes that much harder. So anyways, I think I rambled on long enough, and I hope that people enjoy listening to this. And if you have any questions about anxiety and depression, or if this video helped you at all, please dialogue with me in the comments section, or DM me, PM me, whatever. But yeah, thank you for listening, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your life.